Africans do not like Black Americans. So this is a fact.
No, it's an opinion, and a very asinine one at that. Because Africa is a continent with 54 countries and over 1.2 billion people. A statement such as Africans don't like African Americans is a very ludicrous statement because one, is perpetuating this narrative that there is beef and animosity between Africans and African Americans. And two, what that is doing is it's generalizing an entire continent based off of the actions of a couple of African hairdressers who live in America. And this is coming from someone who has traveled to 4 out of 54 of the African countries. Okay, so I went to Tanzania and I was treated like royalty. People were bowing at my feet. I felt like I was some type of long lost queen who had finally returned to the land. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana was one of the most beautiful countries that I ever visited. I had a family who opened up their home to me. They were feeding me 3 times a day. We were living by the beach. They were doing so much to just make me feel welcomed and loved. So this is for all of my African American people. Go to Africa. Go to the different countries that are there. Learn some of the languages, learn some of the cultures there, because this is the thing. There are more similarities than differences between Africans and African Americans. And we need to kill this narrative. We need to break the plane and start the conversation so that we can get to know each other and enjoy the beautiful continent that we call the motherland, Africa, Azania. Okay? Peace and blessings, y'all.
They have tried to divide the black world for centuries, but right now truth is louder than the lies. Because what is happening in the world right now, Black Americans and Africans are dismantling the myths, are dismantling the stereotypes that were put there to brainwash us, both of black people. Because the greatest fear of the colonial system was not black strength, it was black unity. Because when black people unite globally, there's no system that can stop us. That is the reality. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. The great union of black people across the world. And why am I on this topic? Is because my main theme is about the unity of black people and Africans. When I go across my comment section, when I meet Black Americans and Africans, I want them to feel like they are the same people. Okay? Even if some will feel otherwise, but my aim as a Pan-African is to unite Africans and Black Americans, because once we unite, we are going to shake the world. Now, before I continue, I want you to note that the captions that are there are in Swahili. Okay? Those bigger captions are in Swahili is because I want us to connect through Swahili too. English, Swahili, it's okay. Now, before I continue with my video, I want you to watch these clips of Black Americans, Africans, the unity, and then I come back with more comments.
The colonial project was thorough and very effective in terms of brainwashing the African. And it was so thorough that even in the absence of the white man, I'm using that word very selectively but intentionally, even in the absence of the white man, the black man now supervises each other to conform to the white behavior, culture, fashion, and etc. When I was there for 33 years as a bishop in a church, I remember being told you cannot preach when you don't have a tie on. And these are fellow black people who were telling me to put on a tie, because the white man who started the church said Jesus cannot accept you in your traditional clothes. He can only accept you when you have a tie and a jacket on, polished shoes, and matching socks. Then God is happy. And don't dare you play the drums. The angels and the Holy Spirit will run through the window. So please, play the piano and play the organ, and the Holy Ghost power will come upon you. Someone say amen out there. Don't pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about. You were there also.
Actually, one more thing I need to throw in here. If you're a Black American and you be saying that like Africans aren't supposed to celebrate this type of thing, or if you are a part of the divisive culture between like blacks and Africans, you're a part of the problem. People be sitting in my face telling me that I shouldn't identify as black. Mind you, we went to the same middle, high, and elementary. We grew up in the same neighborhood listening to the same things. My household, of course, was different than yours, but your outside experience was practically the same as my outside experience. We just got different parents. I grew up in two separate worlds. I went home, they speaking Yoruba. I'm on the streets, niggas speaking Ebonics. Like, and I don't think anyone will ever really grasp that. So for you to tell me I'm not black is like me telling you you're not African. It's stupid. Stop doing that.
To my black people, we need to start standing up against the ridiculous things we face in society, because it's an absolute joke and this shouldn't be happening anymore. When are the protests going to start taking place and the petitions to make sure that we have a secure future and systemic racism no longer exists in our societies and we can prosper as people and we don't have to face so much discrimination to the core which we are facing right now, because it's an absolute joke and it needs to stop. When is unity finally going to happen, and when is the division within our communities going to stop? Because the division is not going to lead anywhere. Let me repeat that. The division is not going to lead anywhere. We need to be united, because if we're not united, we are divided as a people. And when we are divided, we have no success and no vision will be able to take place to benefit our community.
Black Americans be like, Africans don't like us. And Africans be like, y'all think we live in the jungle. Meanwhile, both of us was lied to by the same colonizers, okay? They divided us so that we argue over accents while they took cultures, minerals, and magic. Newsflash, they fear a united diaspora, okay? Because if Black Americans linked up with Africans, that's power, land, legacy, and truth in one room. Can you imagine the power that would come out of that? We don't hate each other. We just don't know each other, okay? And that built entire systems to they built entire systems to keep it that way. Wake up. We're not enemies. We're the mirror. It's a lot of Black Americans that I grew up with about, oh, my mom and my dad are both black, but I'm light skinned, and there's no mixing between us. But then, as soon as a light skinned African person say it's a problem, y'all need to go and check that, okay? Check that and let me know what's the issue. What's the issue? Please let me know.
Yes, you guys don't like Black Americans at all. You guys just say bad things about them. They're criminals. They're from slavery. They are not from Africa. They don't know their home. Oh, it's so sad. All the time, you look at a black man and you tell them that, oh, you are from America. You are not African. You are not from Africa. You are lost. You are from slavery. I'm not a slave. You are a slave. Shame on you. Shame on you to even open your mouth. Do you know how painful that is? Whether they look like you or they don't look like you, they are your people. And you say to their face that you are not one of me. You are a slave. Wow. Do you know the pain that our ancestors went through? Just because you were not colonized does not mean you should open your mouth to call somebody a slave.
This message is for my Afro people all across the globe. If you are not Afro, just go ahead and keep scrolling because this is not for you. But my people, for centuries, we've been told that we are less. In America, we've been called lazy, criminal, uneducated. In Africa, we've been told this lie of poverty, backwardness, mockery of our languages and our culture. Even in the Caribbean, we've been painted as nothing more than servants or entertainers, violent. In South America, our communities are often completely erased as though they were never even existing. We're seen as outsiders. We're always at the bottom of the ladder, no matter what country you go to. And that conditioning, it didn't happen by accident. It was designed to make us doubt ourselves, to turn against our own beauty and our own cultures, from skin bleaching to rejecting our natural hair and our natural hairstyles, to believing that our food, our music, or our accents were somehow inferior. We've been taught to disconnect completely from who we are and where we come from. Our histories have been stolen. Our culture has been completely removed or told that we don't even have one. But here's the honest truth. We are the soul of every society we have ever touched. Our creativity, our resilience, our spirit have completely shaped this world. In the moment we stop repeating those narratives that we have been taught and we start loving ourselves deeply and affirming ourselves, we will step into the true power that was meant for us. we're reaching a very strong turning point across America, Africa, Caribbean, Europe, South America. We must see ourselves and we must see each other with love. No more division, no more lies. We are a global family. And with awakening, it begins with reloving ourselves and reloving each other. Let's start this today.
To my African and African Americans who are on this particular app fighting each other, I need y'all to use that brain cell that God gave you. Like, use it, please. Okay? Do you know how silly, well, all of y'all sound, whether it's an African side or African American, like, you'll sound like you're missing some brain cells fighting each other. It don't make no sense. I bet you there's looking at you like, look at them. Yeah, they're winning. Silly gooses.
Welcome back. As I said earlier, the greatest fear of colonial system was not black strength. It was black unity. And that's why they have been trying so hard. They have worked so hard to separate Africans from African Americans, to separate Africans from the Caribbean, to separate black people from each other. Okay? To separate our language from our identities, our culture from our confidence. They have worked so hard to separate our history from our memory. Okay? And they have studied us. They studied us, they analyzed us, and they strategized how they're going to work against us. But despite all of that, we kept rising. And right now, in this generation, something powerful is happening. The walls of divisions are collapsing. The colonial myths are breaking. The truth is connecting us again. That's what is happening right now. Because, let me say this. For the first time in centuries, I'm seeing Africans and the African diaspora are looking at each other. I'm seeing leaders from Africa are talking about black Americans. I'm seeing black Americans are talking about Africa. I understand we may fight in some way or the other. It is normal. Even in Africa, you may find Kenya and Tanzania fighting online. But at the end of the day, we are coming together as one people. Okay? Now, a lie without contest. It was a playbook of division by the colonial. Okay? Africans, and this one lie, for example, one lie was Africans sold Africans Americans. Or Africans sold Africans. You are sold by your people. That was a lie told without contest. Many African kingdoms resisted slavery fiercely back then. Some leaders were manipulated or forced. Others fought Europeans for decades. But the colonial narrative simplifies everything to control the black mind. Why? Because divided people are easier to influence. Okay? If they make an African American feel like Africans betrayed us, and they make Africans feel like black Americans are not like us, the unity becomes impossible. So this was one of the lies that have stayed in the minds of African Americans for decades. I've passed through social media and I see that. I know you have come across African Americans saying that our brothers sold us. Okay? Now, another lie or another myth was that Africans are primitive. And this was propaganda to justify colonization. But when you look at the reality, Africa was great. For example, let me talk about Mali. Mali had universities before Europe had libraries. That is Mali alone. You heard about Timbuktu. You heard about Mansa Musa. When you talk about Nubia, Nubia had pyramids before Rome had roads. Okay? Ethiopia defeated colonial armies aggressively. Great Zimbabwe stood as a fortress civilization. When you look at Africa they pioneered mathematics, they pioneered surgery, they pioneered astronomy. Okay? And yet this colonial education taught the opposite. Why did they taught the opposite? Why did they teach that Africa was like that? It's because pride is power. So if you kill a people's pride, you cannot, or you control their future. That's number one. If you kill a people's pride, if you kill a person's pride, you control what he thinks. You control his memory. Another myth that we are breaking, it was that black Americans are violent, black Americans are dangerous, black Americans are lost. This myth was created to justify brutality. It was created to justify mass incarceration, police violence, and the global demonization of Black Americans. But the truth is, Black Americans are innovators, fighters, builders, culture creators, survivors, leaders, name them, visionaries. You know, they build the world's most influential culture despite oppression. That's what we are using right now. Colonial system intentionally made Africans look down on Black Americans so that we wouldn't unite. You know, like they're angry, they're violence, so we cannot unite with them. Another lie was that we are not the same people. That lie is still standing up to today, and I'm begging you in the name of your creator, please, please, that lie, we need to dismantle it. Even though genetics, culture, rhythm, spirit, intelligence, and resistance says otherwise, they say that we are not the same people. The colonial system won as long as we believed that lie. They are winning as long as we are believing that we are not the same people, that we are separate. But I'm happy right now we are seeing the truth. Right now, even if it's not 100% of Africans, but some percentage of Africans, some percentage of Black Americans are now believing otherwise, are not believing that lie anymore. Okay? Because we are having a new global awareness. What I'm doing right now is a global awareness. And I'm so happy that you are supporting it. For you watching, sharing, you are supporting this global awareness. Because this generation is very, very different. Black Americans are learning African history beyond slavery. Africans are understanding Black American struggle beyond stereotypes. The internet broke the barriers. You know, what they were trying to use to divide us, it is now used to educate us. The diaspora is talking. We are now comparing experiences, sharing wisdom, and exposing lies here and there. Because what I'm doing right now, it is just exposing lies. And that's what too Black Americans are doing. Because Black Americans have now started to understand exactly what went through. Because for them separating us, for them creating videos or creating trends and hashtags that will make us divided, they win. They win. And that's why I see Africans content creators have now come out. And we are talking about Black Americans. I said on one of the episodes that 2 years ago, or 3 or 5 years ago, African content creators, for example, I know you have seen Kenyan content creators are online talking about Black Americans in a positive way. This is educating people because we have created awareness, and now we know that we are the ones that we need to unite so that we can win this battle. The battle of being filthy, the battle of being seen as primitive, the battle of being seen as we are angry, or Black Americans are, you know, name all of them. Africans are saying we see you now. Black Americans are saying we hear you now. The reunion is happening organically, not politically, not through institutions, not through consciousness or consciousness. And consciousness, it's the unity is working through consciousness, because consciousness is unstoppable. Okay? Now, there is a reason why the system is panicking, because they are panicking. That is the reality. They are panicking, and we need to know why the system is panicking. Okay? Now, you may ask yourself, why is unity happening now and not 20 years ago? Why is unity happening now and not 30 years ago? One, because colonial narrative are collapsing in real time. Okay? Social media exposed the truth. Young Africans are rejecting puppet leadership. Black Americans right now are reconnecting to the roots. The diaspora is traveling to Ghana, to Kenya, to Tanzania, to Senegal. Okay? African culture right now is becoming global. Ancestry DNA is revealing shared images, shared lineages. Okay? Black youths worldwide are rejecting division. The system is panicking because they never prepared for this. They never prepared for this movement, because for centuries they think they are there. Even white people thought that all this that's going on will never, you know, they thought they will only be the one on the top, because they were again sold that narrative. Because for centuries the strategy was to keep Africans thinking they are inferior, was to keep African Americans thinking they're alone, was to keep Caribbeans thinking they're isolated, was to keep Afro-Latinos thinking they are invisible. But right now, the colonial curtain is falling. The empire of lies is shaking. Black consciousness is rising like a tsunami. Okay? Now, let me say something powerful. Black unity is not happening. Black unity is accelerating. It is now not on the steep. It is now inclining. I think it is in the valley. It is going very fast. Because when you look what's happening right now, we have culture unity. Afrobeats and hip hop are uniting. Piano and R&B plus R&B, they're fusing itself. African fashions plus Black American style, African spirituality and diaspora creativity are blending. That's our power. We are blending, and that is our power. Again, we have economic unity. Black Americans are investing in Africa. Africans are starting businesses in diaspora. Diasporas are doing what? Diaspora tourism is exploding. Okay? We have again social unity, where Black Americans are moving to Africa, Africans migrating to the diaspora. Black love across continent is happening. Okay? The distance between us is now shrinking day by day. Okay? We have psychological unity, and this is the most important one. We are rejecting colonial narrative. We are returning to the pride. We are returning to identity. We are returning to strength. We are returning to confidence. We are returning to belonging. No system can stop a united. No system can stop a united Black mind. You have to know that. Okay? Now, Africans are finally seeing the true Black American story. And I have seen videos, I've done episodes where Africans are out there saying, now we understand. Now we understand why. Now we understand why. Okay? Now we understand why. We are now realizing that. Africans were fed propaganda about Black Americans for decades. The narrative was that Black Americans are criminals, lazy, they complain too much, they are ungrateful. Okay? But all are lies. Africans are now seeing the truth. Black Americans are some of the most resilient people on earth, if you ask me. Okay? They were oppressed for 400 years, but they still rose. They still built. Oppressed for 400 years, but they still created. Okay? They still stood strong. They still spoke truth. They still fought systems. Okay? And on the other side, Black Americans are seeing the real Africa now. Okay? Black Americans grew up hearing Africa is poor, Africa is dangerous, Africa is backward, Africa has nothing to offer. But right now, we know where the lies came from. It came from colonial media. It came from Hollywood propaganda. It came from misrepresentation. You know? So Black Americans are now seeing Africa's reality. Beautiful cities, talented youths, rising economies, entrepreneurship culture. And we need to do this. We need to come together. Let me tell you something. The reunion is divine timing. And this moment, it is spiritual. For those who know most about spiritual matters, the moment is spiritual. The ancestors are aligning us together. History is aligning us. The unity is a prophecy. Black unity, it is something that I always call it's a global destiny. Because for generations, colonial forces tried to erase our connection, but they forgot one thing. They forgot that truth always rises. They forgot that consciousness always returns and spirit always regenerates. You see? So what we are witnessing right now, it is bigger than politics. This is an awakening of identity. It's an awakening of purpose. It's an awakening of our spiritual and everything that come with it. You know? Because the strength of unity is simple. Because when Black person rises, the world feels it. Okay? When one group rises, all group rise. And now we are realizing something, that we are one people with one purpose. We are the one people with one purpose: liberation, empowerment, and restoration. Okay? Our enemies fear these three things. They fear a connected global black economy. They fear a united political consciousness. They fear a shared black cultural identity. But guess what? All three are happening. All these three are happening. Okay? Now, the colonial system is built on a simple formula: divide, distract, and disempower. But right now the formula is falling because we are smarter, we are more informed, we are more connected, we are more consciousness, and we are less afraid. So that's what is happening. We are entering a new era, and the era is black unity. Black Americans are seeing Africa with new eyes. Africans are seeing Black America with new understanding. Caribbeans are seeing the role in the story. Afro-Latinos are demanding recognition, and the global black family is reconnecting. Colonial myths are collapsing, and the truth is rising. We are rising. That's what I have to say today on this episode. So stay strong, stay united, don't be challenged, don't be confused, because we are one people and we are the future. We are future. Until next episode, peace out.